Hi, so I'm going to do a short review giving you an idea of how the online presence is helping or hurting people who are roughly equivalent if we look at them using Yelp as a standard. I've done a search for real estate in a certain region, and these three, 5, 6, and 7, they all come up about the same on Yelp. You know, they have about 4 or 5 reviews. They're all in El Cerrito. 2 of them looks like they're out of the same office even. So let's just take a look at each one's online presence. So I'm going to click through to this one. So when we look at her here on Yelp, she has she has a photo of herself. So it looks like she is actively working with her listing, but it's not a professional headshot. It's not a professional photo at all. And so it's going to appeal to a certain demographic, but she may be missing out on some of the more professional folks that she might work with. So one thing for her to think about might be investing a few $100 and just having some professional photos made. As I go down a little bit farther, looks like, yeah, she hasn't added any business hours, but that's not as significant an issue. I think she has really good reviews, really strong reviews, going back kind of far. Like there's a pretty big gap from 2007 to 2013. And then, and then there's just like one last year and one this year. So it's she's obviously been at this a while, but the feeling that you get when you look at this is that this is someone who's kind of doing this. And as we look for her elsewhere on the internet, you get the same feeling. Her website is just the website for the company as opposed to her having her own website. When we go to look for her on Facebook, even if we put in her name and then the word real estate, it takes you to her personal profile. There is no page. And this is free. You might have to spend a couple $1,000s on a website or learn how to make one, but having a Facebook page would be free. Instead, we see, well, it looks like she's more into pastries than into real estate. And maybe that's the case. Maybe she's a part-time realtor. But then when we look down her page, she is using this for her business. Here is a listing, and then the next one's a listing. It looks like the only thing she's showing to the public, at least, are listings. So this is someone who would really benefit from learning from her competition. So let's take a look at the competition and these people who, again, come up in the search side by side with her. Okay, so let's look at Maggie next. All right, so, professional photo. She's a little bit older, so she's going to appeal to a slightly different demographic no matter what. But that she looks so professional does really help her with a lot of demographics because it inspires trust in making a major financial decision. And then, the dog's a nice touch. It's personable, and then it's wearing a scarf. This is very good. And then, with a client, so you get that feeling of, because this is a professional photo, you can wonder, is she going to be friendly and approachable? And then these 2 photos answer that question. This is well done. This is well thought through. So I'm going to take a look at her review. So one from this year, another from this year, couple years ago, 1 year. This is much better in terms of, we don't need to see that she's been at it for a decade. We can figure in looking at her that she's probably been a professional for quite some time, but that her reviews are stacked kind of close together is actually helping her. And again, they're all 5-star reviews for all of these people that I'm showing you. So these are all people who are doing a good job, that when people work with them, they like them. So all we're looking at is whether the internet is serving their businesses or not, and where it is and where it isn't. Okay, that's all we're looking at. Every single one of these people obviously are great at what they do. So let's take a look at her website. Okay, well, I don't know why that returned an error that time. I did go to her website previously though, so I have it open in another tab. So let's just go there. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit. So, it's a fairly simple website. It doesn't have the polish that she has. Let me say that. It doesn't match her, but it's a decent website. And I can find the things that are most important. If I'm a seller, I know that I should go here, and there are things that show me her expertise. That's great. If I'm a buyer, again, I know immediately to go here. And then there are things that show me her expertise. Neighborhoods, I'm not going to go through that. Resources, again, more expertise. Now, here's the thing. There's no there's no blog. And I get the sense with realtors in general that there's no blog. One thing, just no matter what your industry is, as you're listening to this, if you have a business, let me just tell you that it can be really beneficial to you to have a blog, simply because it gives you search engine traffic. So yeah, people will find you on Yelp, people will find you on Facebook, which we're going to look at her Facebook in a minute, but people will also find you just like from free traffic coming from Google. And so having content that gets updated more regularly than any of these are going to be getting updated will help you. But again, a lot of the times with realtors, they don't have a blog. And so at least there's a newsletter, and then testimonials, and then a way to contact her. And this is probably only scrolling over because I have my monitor really large so that you can read what's on the screen. So I'm going to go now to take a look at her on Facebook. Okay, so it looks like she doesn't have a page at all on Facebook. That's why we're having this come up like that. Let me see if I just look under her down here. So this is where she worked at Marvin Garden. So this is obviously her. So she doesn't have a photo here at all. So this is obviously someone who's really not into Facebook. Okay. There's an opportunity here for her. Again, she's obviously doing really well in terms of people liking her on Yelp. She's made a lot of good decisions on Yelp, and she could update her website and get a free Facebook page and be having more people know about her. And I get the sense that for her, people knowing about her, they have a favorable impression. She's able to really make a good positive impression. So that's something that she could leverage by just making herself accessible in more of the places that people might be looking for her. And let's take a look at the last one, Alec here. So again, they all have about 4 or 5 5-star reviews, and they're all in the same town. And I think actually they're working all for the same real estate broker. So again, down here, he does have more info. He doesn't have his business hours. And I get the feeling a lot of times with realtors, they want you to just know they're always on. They're always available. They have very flexible hours. And so that might be why they're not putting any business hours in. But the more information that you do put, like if you have a Yelp listing, the more information that you put in, the more that it does inspire a certain amount of trust, just because they know more about you. So let's look here, 17, 17, 17, 17, 16 in the end of this is good. You might think, oh, but it doesn't go back as far, but there's something to be said for momentum. He's obviously in it to win it. He's focused on this. And that's why all of these are coming in within a short period of time. And again, they're all 5-star reviews. And he's taken the time also down here to say something to the person reading it, which is also great. And so there's just this feeling with him of this is his profession. Like this is what he's doing. This is where his focus is. And so, you feel more comfortable putting yourself into the hands of someone who you feel is doing this full time and is really committed to it and focused on it. It just inspires a certain kind of confidence. Now let's take a look at his website also. Again, really nice website, very professional. Now this is the standard for a website that all 3 of them should be having, which isn't to say that their websites should look the same. They shouldn't. It's good to have a unique looking website, but this is obviously a professional website, right? And again, if I'm a buyer, I know exactly where to go. There's no drop down giving me any expertise. That would be an extra thing that he could do. That would be good, but at least I know where to go. Same thing for seller. Searching the homes, which, he has that featured here. Also, I get the sense that he's speaking now more to buyers than to sellers, though, since this searching is very prominent. Searching here, searching down here. And so there's nowhere that I can find the listings that he's representing as the seller's agent, that like, these are my listings kind of a thing, which you will see some of the ones that have more Yelp reviews. Like you'll see, like once they get up to where they've got like 100 Yelp reviews, they've got lots of houses that they are the seller's agent. So you get the feeling here that this is more, even though sellers is here, the feeling of it with this being so prominent and everything does make you feel more like you're at a buyer's agent's site. And it could be just because, maybe there just aren't that many properties for sale right now. I know. Every once in a while I think about selling my house and I'm like, but I want to live here, but I want all that money, but I want to live here. And I think maybe a lot of people are kind of, holding on in the Bay Area as we realize we really don't want to be anywhere else. Anyway, I digress. So I love the look and feel of his website. So let's look at his presence now on Facebook. So, again, very professional. This is an extremely appealing picture. The colors, the sense of the door, the quaintness of it, this represents him well, and it goes with him. It really, even the color scheme of his picture goes with the color scheme of this. Now, I would put a little text on here, especially since I know that I can click this and it takes me somewhere and then there's nothing written here. There's no text, there's no link. This should be building his email list. Like there should be something here that says click here for, and then here should be a link to it and more about it. There's more that can be done here. But what has been done is quite good. There's a call now button, and ability to message is very prominent. Again, we see his 5-star ratings here also. Now, he doesn't have a whole lot of people following him. So there is some potential here for him that he has not tapped into for sure. He's got himself on the map. Fairly recent. It's not super recent, but it's not, it's within the same season. And he has a number of photos of it. And look, people are responding. They're sharing and commenting, and lots of likes. I'm guessing this is a boosted post, though. He doesn't have, for 35 reactions, and he's only got 46 people who follow him or that like him, and 47 that follow him. This is boosted, but that's fine. There's nothing wrong with running ads. Ads are a fantastic way of attracting attention to you, especially when you're really good at what you do. When you know that having more, clients of any kind is really just a matter of getting them to pay attention to you, to be aware that you're there and that you're going to wow them as soon as you have a chance, right? So this is all very good. This is all very good. Yeah, so it looks like he's not posting that often. It looks like every couple months, and there's a lot here. Yeah, it looks like he was posting more regularly, and then he kind of fell off over the summer. Maybe took vacation. But again, it's all looking good. Now, I could stand to see more of a variety of posts, to tell you the truth. Right now, he's not going to get a lot of Facebook love because he simply has too many posts that lead off Facebook. In fact, I don't think I've seen a post yet that doesn't lead off Facebook. Okay, here's one. Sharing somebody else's video. That does stay on Facebook. So one thing a lot of people aren't aware of is that Facebook loves Facebook. Facebook doesn't really want you sending their audience to other sites on the internet. And so if you have a page that does nothing but that, you're not going to get a lot of Facebook love. And so no matter how many people you have following you, a very small percentage, I'm talking low single digits, are going to see your post anytime you don't pay to have them seen if you do this. If you do more of content that keeps people on Facebook and just only put the links off Facebook when like say 1 out of every 4 posts or like that, then what you do is you get a higher percentage of people who see your posts even when you don't boost them, which is very beneficial. It's still going to be more like, around 5% even then, but the more that you get these numbers up, there are just a number of things that he could be doing. I'm not going to go off on a long tangent because I'm realizing I'm probably about 15 minutes in right now, and I don't want to go much longer than that. But I hope that what I've shared with you so far has been helpful to you, whether you're in real estate or not, that you can take this information and say, what are some things that you can do on these different platforms to bring favorable attention to you and to really get the most out of them in a cost-effective way and a time-effective way? More posts could be queued up here that easily allow him to attain that 1 in 4 that's linking off without him spending, more than a couple hours a week, maybe some, one evening every week. He spends a couple hours on one morning or something like that. And it gives him a tremendous amount of additional traffic without any extra expense. But anyhow, I hope this has been helpful, and look for my next review. I'm going to be moving on to a different industry next time. And I hope that you enjoy this series and that you can use it to increase the revenue in your business without increasing your sense of overwhelm, without increasing the stress. Okay. Bye-bye.